This is a 92 GT Timberline. I use this bike for commuting and weekend tours. It's built around urban assault and a little bit of off-road use. In the coming time, I'll be doing a frame swap to a better frame that I purchased. I'll tell you what frame I bought after I run through the parts on this bike. Start from the top to bottom. The seat is a WTB Volt 145. It's pretty basic, pretty straightforward. I use a wider seat for more of an upright riding position. The handlebars, they're Surly Moloko bars. They're pretty much flat bars, but they also have this extra bar with the forward reach on it. Being able to get lower in those longer straights where you want the aero gains or downhill, it does make a difference just because when you're wide, you're slower. The grips are half lock-on grips. On the end are kink bar ends. They're aluminum CNC things. They just have set screws. They do the job. I use them. They're scratched up. Lights, Blackburn, I don't know the model. They're a larger capacity light than what I had previously. Since they are a larger capacitance, you don't have to charge them as frequently, and charging them less is just more convenient. I don't use them to light up the road. I use them more so as beacons than anything, just so people know where you are. I have Avid speed dial brake levers. The dial to adjust everything is nice. It just makes tuning them and getting a better feel out of them a lot quicker. I also have the Sigma trip meter on here. It has miles, time, all those simple fun things. SRAM X5 9-speed thumb shifter. This is off a previous bike along with the drivetrain to accompany it. It's one by, it's simple, less is more in my opinion. Up front, Shimano V-brakes, basic stuff. Cool stop brake pads. In the back, Odyssey Springfield U-brakes from they're a BMX style brake. In the 90s, I thought it was cool to put BMX stuff on mountain bikes, or ATVs as they would call them, market them as. The Springfields, they're straightforward to set up. They're lighter weight than what was on here. Fenders are SKS longboards. They're a little bit longer, so you don't get as much toe spray or whatever you want to call it. There's a little bit more coverage. They're plastic, they work. They're relatively cheap too. I may upgrade to something a little bit more metal. The wheels are Sun rims, Rhino lights, front and rear, matching set. Shimano hubs, I bought them off Amazon, relatively cheap. They're double wall, they do the trick. What was on here was original before, I forget the brand. It was one of the mass-produced brands of the era. I bent the rear wheel trying to do 180s, so couldn't really resolve it. They were single wall too, and not as nice. I prefer the black painted. I have a Roadrunner bag, half triangle bag. This is probably the best fit for this frame. And this is an 18-inch frame, by the way. With the triple triangle setup, it really kind of makes things a bit harder. You have that weld right there, so it just fitment's harder. Roadrunner has nice quality bags. I'll probably buy some more of their stuff in the future just because they seem really practical for like longer day rides and they're nice. This is a Salsa anything cage. It holds my lock. I use one Velcro strap with a buckle. No rattles. It's the best way to hold a lock that I found for commuting without a backpack or some other proprietary mount. Oh yeah, tires. These are Panaracer Percellas. They're 175s tan wall. They're really dirty. It's hard to keep a commuter clean. They're pretty puncture resistant from what I found, and they're relatively lightweight. They roll nicely. They're a little hard in the corners. They're just, the compound is more durable than sporty. You can get a little bit of washout. Drivetrain, 9-speed cassette in the rear. X5 derailleur, one by up front, two rings, a 36 and a 42. I had this set up for an off-road tour where I didn't need a derailleur. Right now, instead of having like a spacer, I just have it set up kind of in a hokey way, but it does the job. I'm ditching the 42 relatively soon, and it'll look a little bit cleaner. The cranks are Truvativ off a Surly Crosscheck, along with the rest of the drivetrain. They do the job, and the pedals are Odyssey twisted pedals. For this kind of riding, for touring rides, I prefer platform pedals. For road rides, club rides, clips are cool, but platforms are preferred. One more thing. I also swapped out the original fork with a threadless setup. The frame I'm swapping to, is a giant iguana that I purchased off eBay. This is it right here. It's in decent shape for the year it is. I believe it's like a 95. It's double butted, so it's a little bit lighter. This has a 1-inch steer, so I had to get a fork that would work with this setup. I'll be running this as threaded 1-inch, of course. I'm stuck to that. I'm curious to see how it will be. I think it'll be fine. There's not a whole lot of options for a threadless 1-inch fork that work with V brakes or Canty brakes, so I'm using the OEM fork. The only thing I'm concerned about is how I'll fare with the quill stem. In my experience, they always have a little bit of flex. I'm sure I can shim things out or do some other stuff to get around that. It should be suitable for the kind of riding I do. Since the triangle is quite a bit bigger, I can run a larger frame bag within this, and it's just more functional. This is a 21-inch frame. It's a little bit bigger than what I typically ride, but adjust everything to make it work the right way, but still gain a little bit of triangle space for practicality. That pretty much is it for this bike. That's the retirement of this frame. I like the frame, but it's just, you gotta change things out sometimes. The future of this channel, I'll be doing more bike related things, whether it be mechanical side things or some riding and ride documentation.